Mouz just won ESL Pro League over Vitality, which might come as a surprise to some of you guys who haven't been following the scene closely, but today I want to look at one of the maps from the grand final and highlight what I think went wrong for Vitality in it and why I think that Shui might be the next GO IGL, and we'll get right into that right after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a site where you could trade skins that you already have to get some skins that you might want. That way you can hop into your next game with some fresh new skins. All you have to do is log into the site through Steam, put in the skins that you don't want anymore, grab the skins that you do, and then click trade. Trades happen almost immediately, and any balance that you don't use in the trade will roll over for a trade that you might do in the future. Right now you can get a free $5 if you were to use code Austin on the site, and if you were to use my code you would get an additional 5% on top of the 30% deposit bonus. So let's say if you deposit $100, that means you would get $135 if you use my code to deposit. So make sure you guys check out SkinsMonkey, and let's get right back into the video. Today I want to take a look at how Shui led his boys to victory today and why I think Shui could be on the up and up in terms of IGLs, potentially even the next karrigan, I've heard a few people say. But today we're going to just have a look at this masterclass in the finals of ESL Pro League. Of course, Mouz versus Vitality. I want to highlight what went right for Mouz. I want to highlight what went wrong for Vitality, and pretty much just the amazing game that Shui called. And we'll get into that right after the first two rounds, because they are just ecos where they're wasting money, and that doesn't really matter. Wasting money from the CT side, wasting time for my demo review. Next, we've got the first gun round here. Now, there is something that I want to highlight in this game, which is that Mouz, or maybe Shui, seems to be aware of a potential weakness going into this game. Now, he is going to oftentimes put players in towards apartments, and the idea being that whenever the time is right, they will be able to walk out. So whenever they put this mid pressure, this is what they're going to do a lot this game. They're going to put mid pressure, and off of whatever happens, like maybe the cat player dies, there's going to be a group of players in towards apartments that will just walk out. It doesn't really matter, the mid fight, the miss util, it doesn't really matter. What we're more looking at is the general idea, right? Showing bomb top mid, showing like, you know, this mid pressure. Why? They want the cat player to come. Why? Because then they can walk out B and isolate this 2v1 and hopefully take the site. It's pretty straightforward. It's basic CS at the end of the day, but when you realize that there's a lot more complexity to this as the game goes on, you're going to start to appreciate the same game that I'm appreciating here. So Shui, of course, also individually one of the more insane IGLs that I've seen, going to win that duel onto the window player, gets a trade. Now he knows it's important because he needs to get the bomb out of here, so he needs to still make sure he does all the steps right to get the window smoke down. Look, they're looking for this timing. Jimmy looking for this timing. He knows that there's a world here where he can get out. Shui's probably saying we're getting ready to come back B. Look at the smoke that Mezzi throws. He's anticipating this, but what he's not anticipating is that Jimmy is built different. Okay, now remember, this isn't just a player demo review, this is a entire team review. Like, this is the difference, right? These individuals on Mouz are allowing the plan to work out perfectly. I mean, like, they put the mid pressure, they isolate this 2v1 just like they wanted. Jimmy walks through the smoke. I mean, this is all according to plan. It looks a little gimmicky, it looks a little rough, but this is by design. That's how Mirage is. So like I said, you know, we set these two players up into apps. That way, whenever the mid stuff happens, we can have them walk out. It's fantastic, good stuff. Let's go on to the next round. There's not that much else to talk about in terms of that. I've accidentally tabbed out. Hate when that happens. So we go into the next round. More mid pressure. What's different this time? Well, off of that kill last round, we know that the B player is probably weak. We also know that we just fought heavy mid and like somewhat heavy mid, and they know that. And if you're on CT side, let me put you into mind of an IGL here. CT side, what is your goal? And T side, your goal is to take mid. That's what you want. You want to take mid. I mean, you hear teams say this all the time, how important mid control is, right? So they want to take mid. This is their make or break gun round for Vitality. They have, you know, like this is their last buy. They're going to be saving after this if they lose. So they want to take mid. Worst case, you know, if something goes wrong, they can save if like their A player or their B player dies. Now, Shui knows that this is probably the game plan. So he's going to entertain those mid players. He's going to smoke top mid, smoke top con, and also in connector. He's just kind of playing with them, keeping them here, right? That's his goal. He is creating the diversion. So often you'll see IGLs do this. And while this is going on, the B pop is coming in. I mean, all four of the other players for Mouz are here, and you just get completely smoked. I mean, like, what even is there to do? I mean, sure, it doesn't look like that convincing right now, but the entire idea is still really insane if you think about it. Like, yeah, there was a TK involved, but, you know, barring the TK, look at this. They've got exactly what they want. They've got the B site. They've got a favorable situation. And the players on Vitality they're scrambling. They don't know what to do. And this is just, again, another really good strat. I know that they were at a disadvantage coming out of apartments, but still, You see this. This is stringing rounds together. The IGL is stringing rounds together and allowing the individuals on Mouz to kind of fill in some of the gaps. It's a little bit of a riskier style of play. I mean, you don't really want to do that, right? Like normally, like at top level, what you're going to see is a lot of teams are going to go through their defaults, take their duel, A player duels the A player, B player duels the B player when it makes sense, right? Like putting pressure mid, like that's typically what you're seeing. Not in this game. In this game, we're seeing a very risky style, which is very reminiscent of another IGL that everybody loves, which is karrigan. You see karrigan call a lot like this. You see what I'm saying? There's definitely some parallels between Shui and karrigan, and you're seeing that, and I love it. It's a fantastic game. I mean, Mouz is such a fun team to watch. Strategically, also, you can learn so much. So here we go, another round. New top mid smoke. Well, I mean, not so new. It's been 6 months since the game came out, but whatever. New top mid smoke. Shui's kind of taking the duel. What's the game plan for this round? Very similar. They know that they have a saved rifle, and they know that they're going to be on pistols. So we send our duo into apps, we send our duo top mid, and we have somebody holding palace push. This is more like a default that you would expect in a gun round, but we're doing it against pistols. I mean, there's no reason to get too fancy on the pistol rounds. I mean, this is the grand finals. Let's not forget, this is an important tournament for Mouz and Vitality. Both, they want to win this. So there's no need to break out the crazy strats, the crazy rounds for pistols. I mean, you would probably just tell your players, like, look, you guys are insane. Don't be worried about some AK, or like one saved AK. Don't be worried about USPs. Like, let's just hit our shots this round. And that's exactly what you see. This is a very common theme on gun rounds as well as ecos. What they do is, this is kind of like baiting a push out of the CTs. So, of course, we take mid control on T side. The idea is we have people that are set up to hold pushes. You'll see this later in the game. They actually push B in because of this, and they went around, but I'll talk about that when it's time. What's happened is they take mid, they're looking for duels. If they don't see anything, what will happen a lot of times is once mid control is taken by the Ts, the CTs will take into ramp, they'll take into palace or apps, right? Think about it. I mean, it makes sense, right? If they were to split, you want to have ramp or palace or apps to kind of help hold the split. It's just basic Mirage. Like, you want to be in apartments shooting them coming up cat. If you kill their lurker, right? You want to do that. You want to be in palace where they're not expecting you. If they're coming out ramp and con and you can get a sneaky kill. Like, you want that. For the CT side, they're baiting this. They're like, look, at Brawlin's all the way back here. He might come back and check ramp. I mean, Torzi's aware of potential ramp push. Again, this is not anything. I don't want to over explain it too much, but you're kind of just seeing like we're really making sure nothing gets out of hand here. And again, Shui is kind of leading. He's showing himself. He's dictating, I think that's a good word, dictating the pace of how this game is going to play. He's the one that goes, and whenever he makes contact, he tells the rest to go. And as you can see, all of them have grouped up together. The lurks have come back. Jimmy came back, Rosie came back from mid, and Brawlin came out all at the same time. That's exactly what you need. You have your two players mid. You just have a basic split, right? That's like CS in 2016. But those are the kind of strats that you need to do now on ecos. So here we have another round. We're going to see more of the same, which is mid pressure. Now, this top com smoke that Shui is throwing, you should know it, by the way. It's a pretty good lineup. But more importantly, you should know why he's throwing it. What does the top connector smoke do? Well, let me follow it here. I don't remember the button to follow it anymore, but look. This top connector smoke, it denies vision from obviously a site and top connector, oftentimes forcing players to choose whether or not to commit into connector or out of connector, right? So back to Shui, what you're seeing is this top mid smoke is always going to be thrown. He wants to throw it a lot. I mean, whenever they do mid pressure, because once they do take mid, what'll happen is they're allowed to take into connector. They're kind of denying this sight line, this A site to cat sight line, which means that if they want to go for a B split, they absolutely can. If they want to get into connector to do an A split like they did on the eco, they absolutely can. I mean, this is Mirage 101. But you'll see later on why the top con smoke is so important in this specific game, because it's a game plan. Like, Shui sets up the entire game ahead of time. He wants this top connector smoke to be useful for a few of the strats that they have. Anyway, let's take a step back from the smoke and look at the strat. Same idea as like I said before. They have a duo in apartments, heavy mid pressure. They even lost a guy this time. Now, if you're on Vitality, what you're expecting is what most teams will do, which is the classic 1-1-3. What does that mean? For those of you guys that don't know, a 1-1-3 is exactly what it sounds like. It's a one watching apps, one watching A push, whether that's ramp or palace, and then 3 in mid. The reason you do this is you want to take mid control, like I said, force the site players to go into your lurks. That way you can have a split, right? Now, like I told you earlier, Shui is taking advantage of that fact in this game, and maybe Mouz has been playing like this the entire tournament. I haven't been keeping up that much, but at least in this game, the idea is we have a duo here. Once we bait the cat player to come fight, like there's 2 B players, right? But one of them is a cat player. And once we know that that cat player is committed to fighting cat, You send these two guys out B. They trade the B guy at worst case. And then we have one guy that's like in market. And then we just file in and we, you know, like we win the round. Like it's pretty straightforward. Like that's the game plan. Simple on paper. And that's kind of how he's calling. It's fantastic. It's like, it's a little more gimmicky. Let's go ahead and look. Brawlin walking through the smoke. This is exactly the game plan. They know what they're doing. Shui's setting up this mid control. He wants them to walk out B. Look, they have what they want. They have a 2v1. Brawlin's taking his time clearing angles. Unfortunately, will go down. This is, again, that riskier style of CS. Parallel to karrigan, like I said, this is how FaZe play. They do these risky plays. Why? Why do they do that? Why do they play like this? Because karrigan knows, and now Shui both know that you can get away with this if you have the individuals that can pull it off. I mean, okay, let's pretend that it wasn't Brawlin walking out. Brawlin's insane, but let's pretend that Rops is walking out, or old FaZe being Twist, or now Frozen. They pretend one of those guys is walking out on the site. You're going to favor them over a lot of people whenever they're feeling it. They're going in, they're entering. Like, if Rops was coming out here, you wouldn't even think twice. You'd be like, oh, dude, Rops about to make the play. You about to get a highlight, dude. It's no different. They're calling a very similar system because he knows the individual is capable, very, very capable, by the way, of winning the round single-handedly. He gets that kill. He doesn't this round, and that's what happens with FaZe. You see that all the time. They play this riskier style, and when they're hitting their shots, it's nuts. And the benefit of playing this risky style is that whenever you lose rounds, it's fine. But when you win rounds, it's demoralizing. It hurts their money. You're forcing them to save. You're dominating. You're setting the tone. Like I said earlier, you're dictating the pace of the game and exactly what's happening. All right, let's continue on here. We got another round. This time it's a little different. Now, this round I don't really know the gameplay. I'm not going to pretend to know. But what I will say is this is the round that the lurkers are going to come through. So Jimmy is going to be in towards apartments here. Now, remember, the way that Shui has been playing, which is this heavy mid hold for lurks kind of style, has been working, you know, most of the time, 50-50 right now. Now, what's going to change for Vitality? Apex is a good IGL. He's a fantastic IGL. So what he sees is exactly what Shui's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows that they're sending these players in towards apartments to hold for pushes. So instead of just going, all right, let's keep taking mid and hopefully, you know, our B player can hold the lurk. No, let's send two people in towards apartments. Take this guy out. We're not doing this anymore. I don't want to let Shui think he's, you know, winning this battle. I don't want him to be comfortable. I want him to be uncomfortable. Unfortunately, this is actually a different round. Shui did not call the same thing. He did not do this mid pressure. He did not do the, you know, it didn't happen. So Vitality is coming into effectively, not, I wouldn't say a trap, but not a favorable position. There's three players in apartments. Torzy's a little far away, but you understand the idea of why this play gets called. Vitality does not want to let Mouz walk all over them. And there you see it. The crossfire in apartments, I mean, the round's just over. And again, it's just the individuals. Like, imagine again, that's Rops. You're walking into Rops. Why would you do that? That sounds like a death. It is. It's the same thing. You're walking into Jimmy. You don't want to do that. And this is all back to the IGL. I know, you might think that I'm overstating the importance of this, but I'm not. I'm actually, like, this is how it is. Like, this is pro CS. You're seeing a team get outplayed. I mean, that is just simply getting outplayed. Now, this round isn't too important. They're going to convert it, and we're going to move on. Let's go to the next round here. There's a few rounds in here that got me excited when I was watching the demo. So here we have a little mid pick for Torzy. The window flash, of course, to blind the Opper. ZywOo does get blind. That's the ZywOo difference right there. ZywOo is also him. But off the back of that, it's important to note that some things happen whenever your Opper loses a pick on T side. And that is the door will close very shortly. The door to win the round, the opportunity. Because once the CTs get established, they're going to shut down pretty much everything. I mean, 4v5, it's pretty favorable for the CTs. Like, it's going to be hard for them to win this round. So you have a timing that something needs to happen, right? You have to do something very quickly. You see, Jimmy goes for that pick. He goes for that peek. He wants to be aggressive. He knows he needs something. He's looking for a fight. Doesn't happen. Shui smokes top con. Exertion is going to single-handedly take connector here. Look at this position that they're in. This top connector smoke again, denying that pick. Look at ZywOo almost had him, but he doesn't. So all of a sudden, the 4v5 immediately gets turned on its head. Okay. Now, let me explain something to you because this is going to seem a little, like, obvious, but when I explain it to you, you're really going to appreciate it for what it is. So, Shui throws a top connector smoke, Exertion's in con. Now, ZywOo, I don't think he spotted Exertion, but what did Exertion find out? Well, he peeked window, he jumped up on the bench, he didn't see anyone in mid, so where do they go? Remember what I talked about earlier when I said that whenever the CTs lose mid control, what is a very common play for them to do? Push into ramp, push into palace. So, based on a simple checklist, as in Jimmy peeks, sees nothing, Brawlin's in palace, they're not in mid? What, you see what I'm saying? it seems almost obvious that they're pushing in towards ramp. Now, Shui, the mastermind himself, what is he going to do? He's coming in here. He's looking for him. He's very patient, waiting for this opportunity, and he's going to win it. That is a big kill. That's an equalizer, and not only is it an equalizer, that's almost round winning by itself. You have your player lurk through con. That's the individual play. You have a player in Palace, and you are going to come out ramp. This guy, Apex, funnily enough, is playing, you know, Tetris, but he has a spot named after him right here called Apex, but Apex is kind of stuck. Now, they are aware that this is still like a losable round. Both sides know that now, but you're going to see this. Now, instead of accelerating, what does he do? He wants to make sure, because he knows that it's very likely that they've double pushed, which they have, by the way. Apex is here. So he doesn't go. He's alone with the bomb. He doesn't go. He lets his players make the play. Exertion gets spotted, he dies, and the round sorta just kind of, you know, goes into a weird situation. Jimmy lurks up con, gets the kill. Okay, it's maybe winnable now. All right. Zaiwu taking some liberties here. And you'll see this. This is another thing that karrigan does, right? They don't go too fast. Like, you're not seeing a panicky, you know, situation where they're running out and getting off by Zaiwu when he's getting clip of the year. You know, that nothing like that. Like, you realize, like, there's something about this where you have, like, you know, a minute in the round. They know where you are. You see this happen in pugs actually a lot as well. But you know, 3v3, like, we know exactly where they are, right? Like, with Shui's ramp, I mean, Brawlin's Palace, I mean, we know that. We know Jimmy came up con, he killed one of our guys. Like, we know where all three of them are. The problem is that the T side also has the understanding that they don't know if they can leave, right? Like, yeah, you knew where all of us were, but what if Jimmy goes through murder hole, now he's holding rotates and we go out B, right? You don't know this because you don't have a flank, and they know that they don't know that. So they can just sit there and wait. More inexperienced teams might panic. They know we're here. We have to go. Our timing's now. If you've played any ESEA, you might have, you know, had that experience yourself. Oh, well, our timing's gone. We lost the round. No. Deep breath. Pause. Wait. 3v3. Now we go out, because once we throw off that timing where they have to have that doubt in their mind, like, did they go B? I don't know. Oh, wait. Look, it all comes together now. Because they need info, Zaiwu gets stuck. He gets spotted, flash, brawling kills. And now all of a sudden the round's winnable. And not only is it winnable, they do win it. And you're seeing the importance of waiting and playing patient. You don't see this. Like, these kinds of calls are, again, just like karrigan, someone that people are calling the GOAT of IGLing. You're seeing very, very similar style, or stylistically, it's very similar to karrigan. It just is. And I love it. It's great. I mean, there's a reason Mouz are the top 3 team in the world right now, and I mean, you're very clearly seeing why. All right, now this round, I don't really have too much to talk about in the grand scheme of things. You know, Shui's just going to get his ecos. We go on. There's nothing to break down. I'm not going to overanalyze an eco again. Did that once already. So here we go. Here's a Palace pop. Now this is a gimmick strat. Now let me explain again in the mind of an IGL. Apex has had enough. He said, you know what? This Shui guy has been walking over me. He was ready for my push. He countered me whenever we take mid. You know what? This time, let's just take mid again. Let's go back to what we want to do. At a certain point, when you're an IGL, you kind of have to just go, you know what? I don't care if I'm playing into what they want. I'm going to do what I want to do, and we're going to win because that's our game. You hear players say this in interviews all the time. Well, we just played our game. They don't care. They're not afraid. Like, they're not like, oh my God, they're in our head. You know what? No, forget that. Just play the way you always play. You can outshoot them probably. Now, because of this, the reason I bring this up this round is because Apex is getting to that point where he's like, just play like how we play, have Zaiwu kill them. And Shui knows that this is the perfect time for them to do a strat like this. Why? Because he knows they're going to go back to taking mid. And they might even double B. Why? Because they've been walking out B. Okay, so they want to take mid. Oh, wait, hold on. So now this is the perfect round of Palace pop because they're conditioned to expect us to have an app. So that way when the cat player swings, we walk out. And also we've been taking mid. We haven't really been walking out A. Brawlin's been coming up A. Wait a minute. It all comes together. I know I'm going really fast, but you see what I'm saying? This is the perfect round to call a Palace pop. You know they're going to do this. You know they're going to be ready for all of this because you've been doing it all game. Now here you go. Palace pop. They wait a little bit. They let them get established mid. All of a sudden, you know, it's starting to, you know, yeah, they have mid. They kind of start to get an idea that things are going wrong. Taking a little time here. That's the only criticism that I have. I mean, and who am I to criticize? But it's hard to know because Vitality didn't throw a utility mid. They just walked up. Taking a little time here. Allowing them to get the read that it's going to be A. Doesn't matter. We're going out. Who are we highlighting? We're going to highlight Mr. Where is he at? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Torzy got smoked off. Or whatever, forget it. We keep going. There was a player I wanted to highlight this round, but I don't remember who it was. I wrote it down earlier and I don't have my notes and I'm flowing right now. I don't want to stop the recording. We keep going. Okay, what you're seeing here. Oh no, I tabbed out. It's actually going wrong. I'm just gonna leave that in. It's fine. You understand that these things happen. Okay, I remember this round now. What you're seeing here is exactly the same concepts as before. 3v3 and now it's a 3v4. We're slowing down. So Exertion gets to kill. They know that there's 2 ramp. They know that Exertion's top mid. So they're just gonna leave B, as you see. B is open. Now, just because they know that we're going towards A doesn't mean that we have to go fast. I mean, there's no point. Like, we know we're going to go into 4 of them or 3 of them, no matter what. Like, it's just, we know that's going to happen. Let's wait for all of us to be together so we can throw utility that makes sense. We see the top con smoke get thrown. We see the jungle molly get thrown. Now, if anybody's playing here, they can't stop them. So the bomb will go down. Like, this is a pretty free round to get the bomb down. I mean, yeah, you know, you're going to have to worry about ZywOo being CT or whoever, but like, the bomb's going to go down, and it's going to be a favorable situation once you can get away. So let's see it happen here. They're going to slowly convert. Now, off the back of this, Shui knows, where can you go? This is just post-plant 101 for Mirage. Where can you go? Well, you can't really take jungle. You can't really plant for jungle. I mean, you could, but this is not going to go well because then this fight becomes too important. Plus, you still have to have you can only have 1 jungle because you need to have somebody holding CT, and you also need to have somebody ramp to hold the flank. You just can't, you can't go jungle. It's not going to work. Instead, we're going to go CT. That way we can plant default. And eventually, Torzy has a flash, can flash deep CT. I can take this space, and now we can hold A together in a line, right? Big crossfire. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. They're all crossfired. That's how you play post plants. That's how you have to think about it, right? Like, you don't want to be isolated. You don't want it to be like, okay, the ramp player, he can't help me here. The ramp player can help me here. Look, we could see each other. I could crossfire with him if they come out sandwich. But if he's here and here, they don't see each other. They can't help each other. When you're down a man, you have to make sure that all of your teammates are playing a part. You just have to. That's what you see. We're ready to fight CT. Torzy setting up that flash. There it is. Doesn't really get the info. He can't push. He can't overexert himself. I mean, he just, if he goes right there, like there's 3 people, he's in trouble. You know? Waits, he lets Torzy get posted. Starting to realize something's up. It's too quiet. We haven't seen anyone jungle. Exertion doesn't see flank. Okay, it's too quiet. This is just a Torzy round, to be honest. And the flank from Apex, it would have been perfect, but they got 3K'd in CT, so it doesn't really matter. The setup is perfect. You see it again. The reason they're in a setup like this, they can always help each other. If, I don't know, maybe he was jungle, and that's a kill for Apex. There's no trade. This guy can't really help. I mean, yeah, he's still not going to get out Palace very easily, but you see the point. Okay, another exciting round there. Let's go on to this round, which is the round where I really wanted to talk about. I remember now. So we're going to do this fast mid control. We're going to lose our Opera again. Now, this is a very similar situation as to the round before. Remember what happened last time? ZywOo op Torzy, and I told you the door was closing. This is the same idea. This time, Shui gets the cat player. Wait, cat player, hold on. That's not the cat player because that's ZywOo. Nameplating, another concept I talk about all the time. So it's not the cat player. Well, so that means there's 3B. So, because of that, what do we know? We know a lot more than you think. Look at Jimmy. He knows he has a timing. But wait, Austin, I thought you just said there was 3B. I did. But you have to understand, this is still a part of the plan. The cat player was, like, ZywOo was not just playing the role of the cat player. No, he's with the cat player. So, things actually aren't different. It's not different at all because Spinks is still going to be committed cat. There's still going to be 1 solo B. This is their win condition. They're applying this pressure mid. They keep the cat player entertained, keep the con player entertained. That way, Jimmy, again, think of it as like Rob's coming out. Rob's taking a 1v1 on Mezzy. You're like, oh yeah, Rob's going to win. Exactly. Jimmy is going to take this timing out towards B. This is again by design. And he also knows that their money is not great. This is still like a weird half buy for the boys. Like, let's not forget that. So, trade happens. Con player, cat player, trades happen. We continue. Another kill. Oh, another kill. See? So, even though strategically this round still made a lot of sense, sometimes you can just lose the round to mechanics. It happens. Sometimes it happens. But while all of that is happening, I want you to take a look at, rewind, look at what happens in mid. Another top connector smoke. This time Exertion throws it. Now, even with all the stuff that's going on, I know the kill feed's bugged, but Jimmy's still alive. With all the stuff that's going on, this top con smoke, I highlighted at the beginning. Why is it so important? Well, it keeps people out of the round. Like, look, Apex they can't contest. Like, theoretically, this round is going fantastic. If they get the kill on the Spinks, they're going to split Mezzy. I mean, Jimmy's already taking the duel. Like, they're looking good. But more importantly than that, even when everything starts to deconstruct here, they still really, like, Flames is spamming the smoke. Like, he's out of the round. And because that top connector smoke is still down, it allows for Exertion to make another individual play. I just told you individual plays win rounds. Well, they do win rounds. I mean, the Deagles just came out of nowhere, but individual plays like this with the top connector smoke that's still up allows Exertion to go up cat and be in a really favorable position to win the 1v3, which, I mean, yeah, it's CS. That's why it's exciting. You see, strategically, both teams played good. Mechanically, both teams hit some really nice shots. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because one player can still just win a 1v3 and take the entire round and throw it away. Either way, another round we have for our boys on Mouz. Let's take a look from Shui's perspective. I'm going to go out towards mid. It's the exact same thing that we've been talking about. Exact same thing. So, 2 players apps. He's on his way. Jimmy's on his way there. You know, but 2 players apps, 3 mid. Nothing different than before. So let's just watch it one more time. We get out. Cat player dead. Fantastic. Same concept as before. 2 apps, 2 mid. Now with the trade on the cat player. Right? Like it's set up for this. Maybe they know Spinks likes to fight. Maybe they do. Anyway, so let's look over here. We're walking out. Torzi's leaving mid. They're going now. They have to go. Look at that smoke is very telling. It's telling that he doesn't want them to come through. They know that they have to go. And look, even despite Mezzi's best efforts, he can't win. Like I said, remember, I told you, I painted the picture a long time ago. Even if they 2 versus 1, if they go 1 for 1 and it's just one guy, they have the site and the rest can rotate in. So it's a 3v3 now, and they just have B. This is the entire game plan. You've seen this time and time again, this demo. I've mentioned this. And you might just think that that's how Mirage is played by now, but no. No, this is a game plan from Shui to play risky. And it's absolutely working. I mean, yeah, the 1v3 round, but it's absolutely working. They won 9 rounds on T side. No, I'm sorry, not to spoil, but they're gonna win this round. They won 9 rounds on T side after starting down 2. Oh wow, that was the worst 2 ever. After starting down, oh my god, after starting down 2-0. Think about that. They won 9 rounds on T side. On T side, after starting down 2-0. And it's because of the game plan. That's why the riskier version of CS works. That's why karrigan's on the #1 team in the world. That's why he's the GOAT IGL. And that's why when Shui starts to call like him and has the individuals that can mimic the FaZe team, you see this. They just walk out, they win the round. They just win the round. No more like, how many A finishes did we even see? No. This is not a normal game of CS. This is literally just, you are going to go out B whenever the mid timing is right. We can watch a little bit here. I mean, they just hold it. I mean, there's not a lot going on here. It's a tough retake. I wouldn't have expected them to win this, honestly. But yeah, there you go. That's it. Jimmy gets a 2K, and that's the round. All right, let's switch over to CT sides, because obviously 9 rounds isn't enough. You still got to close out the game. Now I'm going to skip pistol. I don't like watching pistol rounds. Strategically, there's not much to talk about. It's just a death match. They do win pistol. They're set up to perfectly win the game. So what do you have? What happens when you win pistol? Well, obviously you get the guns you need. Obviously, I don't know how they have enough for an op, but they have enough for everything that they need. Everything's going swimmingly, right? Brawlin's playing with a confidence. Oh my, look at that confidence. He doesn't care. You know what? The default, whatever strat you're going for, I'm just going to fight you. Brawlin plays Palace, so he knows, you know, that this is a fight he can win, right? So he just jumps into Palace, he wins. He knows a lot of the you know, T-side defaults. Mid, lurk. Like I told you, 1-3-1, right? 1-3-1. That's like the normal default. Takes the duel, wins it. They're set up to win the round. They just are. There's another pick. Torzi gets one out of Apex. It's looking fantastic. It's looking fantastic. They have everything that they need here. Individuals walk out. Spinks and Zaiwu get spotted. Yep, Spinks and Zaiwu get spotted. They reset. Again, like I told you, experienced teams are going to be doing this. They're going to reset. They want to play slow. Yeah, they know where you are. Look, they're all rotating. They know where you are, but it doesn't actually matter. That was a 3v2. Flames gets his, and these players, like, yeah, we know where they were, but where are they now? They're walking up mid. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, it happens. Individual CS is going to always be a part of the game. Strategically, Mouz played another really good round, but they lose to an individual at the end of the day. Like, this is how games become competitive. Like, I can sit here and talk about demo review, not like, oh, dude, look at how insane it was. They're just the best. And then they just lose over 1v3. And now they're all of a sudden, like, they're on the back foot. They have an eco. I'm going to skip this round because they're going to lose it. They have an eco. And not only do they have an eco, they have another eco. I mean, I guess the last round was technically a 4-spy, but it's an eco when you're playing up against a bunch of AKs, right? Like, okay, so we blink after we lost the 1v3, and now we've lost 3 rounds. Okay. What now? Well, we still need 3 rounds. Now, they've won 3 in a row. our money is not great. If we lose this round, we're gonna lose two for one again, so it'll be 10-8. That's scary. All right, well, let's figure this out. So what are we gonna do? So what do we see strategically change here for the boys? Mid fight is a little more passive. They don't want to overcommit. They just lost a round where somebody walked out A, got a kill, created enough chaos for Spinks to somehow get in a position to win a 1v3. So since Vitality hasn't showed that they're contesting mid too heavily, they don't feel the need to do this aggressive mid take. It's more passive. I know that like this is still a mid take, but there's a difference between aggressive and passive, right? Like we're playing non-committed spots. Exertion can easily fall back. Like it's not like Spinks swinging, right? Like Spinks swinging every round, cat. That's aggressive. You know, Shui's sitting top con. You know, like we're not swinging out bottom con. Like we might later in the round, but we're not starting that way because remember, this is the perfect round to call a gimmick play. I talked about this on the Palace Pop round that Shui called. If they do a gimmick play, maybe they do a Palace Pop, B Pop, like, look, they're still, like, they can help each other. Exertion and Jimmy, they can see each other. Not the same as Mezzy and Spinks. Spinks was isolated from Mezzy. They cannot see each other, so that's a 2v1. This is still a 2v however many. Again, A players can see each other. This is a very important concept. And the mid players can see each other, too. Like, if Exertion were to play, like, a little more aggressive, like, the mid players can see each other. So they create these crossfires. It's basic CS, again, but they're doing this intentionally. Now, equally as intentional, Vitality are doing the same thing. They're kind of like, you know, we'll let them do whatever, you know, they're going to let us do whatever, and at the end of the day, we're going to get mid control. This is just a mutual agreement that I think everybody that plays Mirage understands. You can't have mid forever, and that goes for both sides. You just can't. The CTs can hold it as long as they want, but eventually if the Ts want it, they can take it. And the same thing goes for the Ts. You can't hold mid. You can take it, but if the CTs want to retake it, they can. And the reason for that is pretty simple. These are areas that have no cover in mid. I know there's smokes everywhere. So they're going to just exchange utility. Now here it comes. This is the split. We have Spinks in apartments. He's going to get smoked, but they want to go towards cat. It's very clear their intentions. And for us, it's clear their intentions. But it can change. Like, even in a round like this, I want you to understand from Vitality's perspective, they have 4 in mid. Just because Spinks is in apps doesn't mean they have to force this B split, right? They don't have to. What they can do instead is, let's say that Shui overextends and he dies. Oh, now we can go A. All right. Now rewind from Vitality's perspective back to Mouz's perspective. I talked about this. The mid players are connected. They can see each other. So Exertion gets the first kill. Now Shui is going to be in a position where even though he's smoked, he's still going to have a way of helping because of the way the crossfire is set up. Even through a smoke, he knows where he needs to shoot because they could see each other. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason it's called a crossfire. There's a reason that they smoked Shui off and fought Exertion. They wanted to break the crossfire. The problem is that you can't always do that. And even if Shui wants to like still continue the crossfire blind, there's a chance he's going to get kills, and he does this time. And of course in CS2 you can see still when you shoot through smoke, so that's also nice. But yeah, you see this is exactly what you need from Mouz. Like they did this passive mid. Vitality also does it, and when they decide to go in for this B split, they're still in the perfect spot. They have con and top con, and then they have cat. If they go up, look, they're not going to win. That's the kind of round that you need to call. That's another example of Shui understanding what needs to happen to win a round. And not only is that just a round, that is a very important round because it stops your money from getting broken. It stops the win streak that Vitality were building, and more importantly, it makes everybody stop thinking that they're choking. I know that that's like, they're pros. They should never think that. No, it happens, dude. Once you lose 3, in the back of your mind, you're like, I've already done this a million times. I know I'm gonna choke this. I just know I'm gonna choke this. But they have to do their best to not let those thoughts in, right? They have to make sure that doesn't happen. And winning around like that is very good. All right, so now this is a little different. What do we see? Shui boosts Torzy, not the cat jump. The cat jump is a little risky these days because if the T's want to take that fight, they can win it. So instead, we boost Torzy into window. That way he can go for a delayed cat swing. So there's 3 timings, right? There's the normal I went through market swing cat. There's the cat jump swing cat. And then there's this one. It's in between the normal ones. So once you clear this and you're like, oh, well, if he's going to peek cat the way Spinks does, it's in like X amount of seconds. But there's also that middle timing that people forget about because you need to get boosted, which is why it's so effective. So Torzy's going to come up on that middle timing, but there's nobody there. Nobody's home. So now we know we have mid. So based off of this play that Shui calls, we have mid control. And so we can establish this again. Little smoke that you can learn right there. You saw the way that Shui threw that. It's not a one way. I don't like that term. It's not actually true. But what it allows him to do is it allows him to come through the back of the smoke to clear underpass, and he has a favorable advantage from top con. As you can see, Brawlin's about to play. Yeah, I understand he got spammed. That's how it goes. But look, Brawlin's going to replace him. A is open. They have an understanding. If A gets taken, If they don't get any kills, they're just going to save. That's CT said. We've talked about that a million times in my reviews. So they're going to continue to play this crossfire, right? You know, I mean, it gets a little like wacky. Like Torzi's here, like now they can't see each other, so it's a little more risky. But the idea still stands. They're holding on to mid. Torzi does this little trick that I'm about to make a YouTube short on, and you know, we have a pretty good idea. You can see through over the smoke sometimes, as you can see. Yeah, we have a pretty good idea of like, all right, I don't think anyone's mid now. You know, Brawlin's kind of spotting as well as Exertion's kind of spotting. And look, this is the mid-round call. I don't know if Shui calls when he's dead. I don't know if he does. But if he does, let's just live in the world where he does. Look at what he's called. He's called for them to all come together. You're seeing this. Jimmy's pushed apps. So everything comes together to kind of indicate if they have a lurk mid, maybe they're going for a typical split and there's somebody bottom con, chair, or maybe he's underpass. They're going to focus mid. Once they've established it's clear, they know it's A, and they can turn around and they can win, right? So you see, this is happening. They're starting to kind of get that idea. So Exertions, or Torzi, I mean, it's like, I don't think they're here. And then the A hit comes in. They still lose this round. They do. I'm just going to be honest, they do. But it doesn't matter because you're seeing how these things are kind of happening. And it's like, Mouz aren't playing bad, but they're playing versus another pro team. And just my last review that I made, I was highlighting how good of an IGL I think the Apex actually is. So it only makes sense for Apex to still be calling a good game. At the end of the day, the reason CS gets compared so much to chess is because it's IGL versus IGL, right? Like, these are all pieces on a board. Yeah, there's an element of like, oh, I can randomly ace your team and ruin your strat. Yeah, that exists. But for the most part, it's IGL versus IGL. And some rounds, even though Shui might call objectively good, Apex might have the read that Shui is going to do such a thing, and then he calls something that outplays Shui, and so on and so forth. Like, it just happens, or maybe a kill goes the wrong way, or whatever. But I just want you to see the real, like, the ideas that Shui's having, everything that they're doing on Mouz is still really insane. Like, you can learn so much, like, even in rounds that they lose. So, here we have another round. What do we see? Second timing. Again, ladder fight from Exertion. Brawlin swinging out con. This is aggressive mid. Remember, the last few rounds we've been playing passive. This one's more aggressive. Shui mollies the top of boxes. There's nowhere for them to hide. They're in the open with flashes from Torzi. So, there's nothing they can do. First kill goes their way. Another fantastic call. We've got mid. So why didn't Vitality just do this? Well, remember, Mouz was throwing the top mid smoke, and they were kind of denying that possibility. Mouz didn't let that happen. Vitality wanted to play aggressive this round by window smoke and con smoke. They didn't want to even let this happen, but because of that second timing, kind of throws them off. And a little detail there, throws them off. They weren't expecting that because they didn't see it last round, remember? He didn't get spotted when he did it, so that's why they called it again. Think about it. So now they have mid control. Everything's looking really good. Really good here. All right, now they give up mid because, again, it's the same idea. You can't hold mid forever. There's no point to die for it. They let them retake mid. They back out, and they play a good setup. I mean, Brawlin and Shui are together towards the CT. Like, everything kind of comes together. The double B, by the way, boosted B. In case they had tried any shenanigans walking out, Exertion would have taken him out. Shui's also planning for that. And we continue on. The round kind of just goes, and the kills come in any second here. Flames takes a little risky peek. At least it looks risky. It looks like it doesn't make any sense, but let me actually explain why it's not that stupid. It's not stupid at all, actually, because Zywoo's posted. You'll see here. Zywoo's posted. He's calling, nobody's holding you, bro. You're good. Well, I can't see that, actually. That's just unlucky. But, I mean, those are the risks you take, right? It's pro versus pro. Shui's going to go ahead and get under window here. It's pretty much impossible for this round to get out of hand anymore. I mean, yeah, it could always just, like, on it, like, randomly just change, but everybody's holding everything they need to hold. They know where everybody's at. I mean, if anything goes wrong, Shui's still in here. Like, they're not going to, like... It's really hard for Zywoo to have any impact in this situation. He's getting crunched. If he tries to jump out, he's just dead. And then they know he's in con. Like, it's over, right? All that's to say, another fantastic round called. You don't see a lot of flaws in this mid-game plan. Everything is just coming together. So the takeaways are right now boosting ladders, throwing off the timing for Vitality. Just another trick. I mean, it's the grand finals. I know I haven't really been saying that much, but you got to pull out everything, all the stops here. So this time we see something a little different. Exertion jumps out window. Now, we didn't see this before. This is an all-in mid-fight. You have somebody jump out window. We have somebody, the Alper's in window. We have someone swinging cat. Shui's about to come here. Brawlin his stairs. This is basically 5 mid. They want to all in. They want to win this fight. They're nading the smokes. They're nading top mid. They're trying to, like, put a lot of pressure on them here. Now, I mean, Vitality's not, deaf. They hear there's a lot of utility being thrown. So off the back of that, Apex, the IGL, is realizing things are kind of going like, I think that A might be clear. Now, Shui is about to find out, right, very quickly what's going on. He's going to see Apex. He's going to be like, that's the IGL. He's not normally the A guy, which means it's A. So everybody's going to immediately get into position. Shui is going to walk through the smoke. He has a pretty good timing here. And then there you go. I mean, the round just kind of goes from there. Shui is going to close it out pretty poetically, in my opinion, because he called a great game, and then he hits a couple of bangers to close it out. Despite Flames' best efforts, he's not quite an Alper, so he will not be able to put up a fight here. But there you go. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think that Shui is going to be the next karrigan, or do you think that he's just had a couple of good events in a row? Personally, I like the style he's calling. I think that it works really well. It makes a team like Mouz extremely scary. It makes them compete with the big dogs. I mean, honestly, like I said, they're not even really an underdog team anymore. I mean, they are sometimes the favorites. I mean, they are a top 3 team in the world. Vitality was ranked 6 coming into this. Could we be seeing the beginning of Mouz becoming one of the best teams in the world? Or if not the best team in the world? I think we could be. It's a big tournament for them to win. I'm very happy for them. Congratulations to Mouz for Pro League back-to-back. And if you guys did enjoy the demo review, make sure you guys sub to the channel. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I don't think there's any Pro CS coming up that's too crazy. I'll probably talk about the first game of Dust 2 that was played. It just got played today. It was actually Mouz versus Bet Boom. I'll probably talk about that game and see how Dust 2 plays in CS2. But then after that, let me know what you guys want to see. If you guys watched this far, I appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you like the video. Comment your favorite part. Comment. Tell me if you think I'm wrong on something. Or if you had questions. My outros are kind of getting lame these days. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Bye-bye. Much love. See you guys soon. Peace.